Good morning, boys and girls. I wanted to start all over again with our chapter book that we had begun before we were out of school, and I'm going to try to upload a chapter per video, and so you can listen to chapter 1 and then chapter 2 and then chapter 3 as we make our way through the book. Remember, the book is a Magic Treehouse book. There's lots of Magic Treehouse books. You can probably find some of these at the bookstore or at the library when they open again. And this is the very first book in the Magic Treehouse book series, and it is called Dinosaurs Before Dark. Now remember, there's not a lot of pictures. I will show you the pictures that are in here, but most of the pictures are going to be in your brain. Chapter 1, Into the Woods. Help! A monster! Said Annie. Yeah, sure, said Jack. A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. Run, Jack, said Annie. She ran up to the road. Oh, brother. This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved pretend stuff, but Jack was 8 and a half. He liked real things. Watch out, Jack. The monster's coming. Race you. No thanks, said Jack. Annie raced alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. Come on, Annie, it's time to go home. But Annie had disappeared. Jack waited. No Annie. Annie, he shouted again. Jack, Jack, come here. Jack groaned. Oh, this better be good. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with the golden late afternoon light. Come here, called Annie. There she was, standing under a tall oak tree. Look, she said. She was pointing at the rope ladder. The longest rope ladder Jack had ever seen. Wow, he whispered. The ladder went all the way up to the top of the tree. There at the top was a tree house. It was tucked between 2 branches. That must be the highest tree house in the world, said Annie. But who built it? Asked Jack. I've never seen it before. I don't know, but I'm going up, said Annie. No, we don't know who it belongs to, said Jack. Just for a teeny minute, said Annie. She started up the ladder. Annie, come back. She kept climbing. Jack sighed. Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home. Annie disappeared in the treehouse. Annie! Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. Books! She shouted. What? It's filled with books. Oh man, Jack loved books. He pushed his glasses into place. He gripped the sides of that rope ladder, and up he went. And that's the end of the chapter. I'll do chapter 2 next. Think about the way I was reading the words. We started talking in our reading groups about quotation marks and exclamation points and periods and how our voices change if we're reading a regular sentence with a period or if we're reading a sentence with an exclamation point. That shows that we are what? Who remembers what an exclamation point shows? It shows that we're excited. So when I'm reading it, I have to read it like I'm excited. And if I see a question mark, it means it's asking a question. And I don't say a question the same way I would say a sentence with a period. If I was going to say, it's snowing outside, then I would have an exclamation point at the end and I would say it excited. If I wasn't excited and if I just said, it's snowing outside, that would be a period. If I was asking you a question, my voice would go up a little bit at the end. Ready? Is it snowing outside? See how my voice went up a little bit? All of those marks that are on this page, they all say something. They all mean something. And remember, my reading group that started learning quotation marks, everything inside of the quotation marks is what the person said. So I try to say it with the voice that I think the person saying it would use. And it just helps make it a little bit more interesting. Remember, we don't read like a robot. We don't say, Jack sighed, Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home. Instead, I would read it like this. Jack sighed, Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home. I'm going to go ahead and get chapter 2 ready next.